Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. On this day, September 13, 2021, Monday, regarding quality issues, safety issues, COVID, and engineers' relation to them. Title is Civil Field Engineering Life. Of course, life is important here with engineering. Civil Field Engineering Life Quality AnnexSL COVID 19 SHE, that is Safety, Health and Environment. Engineer's role, designs, construction methods, contracts, organizations, communication, coordination, why be behind quality of standard material. Usual talk, formal talk, every day is conducted. Sometime due to failures on signals, it's interrupted and still signals are not very strong. Well, no problem. Let's go as far as we can go. It's life. This is, you can say, kind of certificate for competency and for education, for qualification. That is this. Then there's another kind of certificate. Try to show you every day. Not because I am that, because we should remind everyone what is right of life, what is right of people, and what are our duties towards giving products in quality status. Worried about this because we have enough skill in our country, we have enough skill, yet where is that skill? It's not visible, in spite of fact that quality systems are adopted almost by all companies, organizations, government bodies, private bodies, industries, factories. All businesses generally adopt, they are certified by registers of quality systems. All, despite being registered or on roll of quality systems, still where is quality? That is a question mark, and that question is valid. Quality means it should be delivered. It's not simply because I am saying we are delivering quality, you accept it. No, that is not a way. It's not a way. I can simply answer that in very small, you can say, statement, and that is how, why to accept that. It's not something that I have to accept. Life is not that as we think it is. Life is full of complications, that is true. But complications never mean compromise. Complications means you have to go further. Wherever there exists complication means some opportunity also exists. Just like we say, wherever exists certain risk means that risk says, solve me, handle me, and then I will change my shape from risk to opportunity. You got my point? If there is impact, there's impact of something. This impact means that equipment is able to digest that. Quality is such a requirement. Safety is such a requirement. Quality says you have to upgrade yourself or your activities. Quality says you have to enrich your work, you have to enrich your standards, and I'll get improved, I'll get motivated, and I'll be proud that I am better than before. And same statement comes from safety, which says safety is utmost important. It is considered at point number 1, because if you are safe, you are attentive. If you think you are safe or you have to keep safe, you have to keep attentive towards no no incidents or accidents, you shall perform better, you shall have better concentration. And if you think you don't care for safety, then you shall lose concentration towards job as well. So safety, health and environment, we generally combine them because good health is important, better health is more important, and best health can't be defined until you can say I am best, I am fit, I am fine. Generally your answer is okay, how do you do? I am fine. It means health wise I am fine, mind wise I am fine. But are you? Question is that if you ask those who are involved in production, who are involved in engineering, who are involved in works, which works means development, which works means manufacturing, which works means industries activities, which works means every industry activity and every construction activity and every other activity which supports them. All those activities are very important from every viewpoint. In industries, there are so many processes which run all time. I am interested in industries particularly as well as in construction, that is, you can say construction industry. Though sometimes people don't care for construction because they say this is not industry, but it doesn't matter, industry or no industry, activities are affected, and therefore we have to be very careful about them. Listen, quality is not that can be purchased. Quality is not that material that can be measured. Quality is not that substance that you think, no, I claim it is quality. Because quality claims itself, it speaks itself, it defines itself. There is no requirement to explain that it has quality because it shall tell itself. It shall tell itself when it is used. After delivery, when something is used, some material, some product, some construction product or whatever product, when it is delivered, it can be understood that it has quality. Where quality element is inserted in that, is included within that production, within that process, within that construction, and when it happens, it's totally understood that it is quality. And it is true that without quality, without safety, you can say you can't claim that that product has been engineered or that product is engineer's product, engineering product. That cannot be claimed. An ordinary product is something else. But ordinary product also has quality, and that quality is of different kind. Because you have to say eat it, consume it, you are worried about that quality. But something you are not going to stomach purpose, is not going to eating purpose, you don't know what quality it has until that product is used for intended purpose. Quality needs a revolution, in fact, I can say. Revolution by engineers, revolution by engineering staff, revolution by engineering workers, because time has changed. Wealth is given more value, money is given more value, and destiny to make more and more money has changed quality, objective. Our objective should be quality and not money, but nobody will accept that. Because of, you can say, avarice, or because of, you can say, making more money. When money becomes a destination, I think knowledge keeps back step. We say quality and quantity must go in same line or at same level. Quality and quantity must be together, and it is better if quality lags ahead of quantity, though it's not going to happen in this situation when quality lags behind quantity, and you can say greed lags ahead of quality. And people think that if quality is kept a target, it's kept an ambition, they will lose something. Well, I do not understand mathematical logic behind that. If you perform well, if you work well, if you care for time, cost, and also quality, how shall you lose? That is out of my mind to understand. Maybe you are better intelligent, more than what I am, and you can explain that if we miss quality, shall we have some benefit? I don't understand as an engineer, believe me. And same applies to safety, health and environment. Something that this is waste of time to talk of safety, to talk of health, to talk of environment, because nothing is in our control. I don't accept that as well. Safety is absolutely in our control. Health, as far as work is concerned, and if health is deteriorated because of lack of safety, that is in our control, that can be in our control. And environment, I'm not talking of air pollution, yes, that's also related. I'm not talking of some other pollution which is massive one and which is, you can say, beyond control. But environment that is built around working zone or in factory working area or on construction sites, that environment should be articulated to be better. That environment is built by workers, by machines, by you can say coordination, by you can say a kind of harmonious degree, and whatever you can say peaceful atmosphere. People should feel happy to work. That's what creation is required for, to build up an environment that helps our people psychologically feel that they are safe, they are not going to be, you can say, adversely impacted. Of course, they have to use their energies for work. You cannot say that I am in bed, I am sleeping and let work go on. That cannot happen. Rest is best only when we have done work best. Rest is best when work is best. And we say if quality is not maintained, your production, maybe you happy today, I got this much progress today, but that will repel you back, that will impact you adversely in future, because your work will not be accepted, and if it is accepted by mistake, it shall be returned to you, or you shall have to pay in lieu of losses. Engineering is that branch which is use of mind. Engineering corresponds or indicates to use of mind, and mind is that commodity, mind is that material, mind is that, you can say, power which you cannot see but you can understand, you can feel. Yes, there is mind. We cannot measure mind itself. We can understand, we can use its strength, and we can understand what strength we have used, what work it has done. This is my quality, this is my contemplation level, this is my thinking, and my quality helps me to do better job. That is individual quality. Means before going further, we have to concentrate on quality of every individual, and every individual itself can count on itself when one is qualified, educated, trained, and knows life. If one knows what is life, what is problem, what is difficulty, and what is, you can say, energy, and what is time, what is cost, an engineer knows all these. Engineer or other professionals, medical professionals, other workers, They very well understand value of time, value of cost, value of life, value of resources, because after all, without these, we cannot do anything. And those frontline workers, we call them, without whom nothing can develop, just like in medical science, without doctors, without nurses, without medicines, without equipment, without health workers, there nothing can work. Same way, we engineers say, without our teamwork contribution, without, you can say, our dedication, without our devotion, without our thinking of commitment, nothing can be done. To an extent manufacturing is concerned, to an extent construction is concerned, and to an extent development is concerned. Development itself is a development. Means we have to do something, first of all, to create something if doesn't exist, or establish something when doesn't exist, by thinking, by doing, by using natural resources, by using human resources, by using equipment resources, by using innovative technology. We have to create or establish something. And once we create or establish something, we have to upkeep that for long, as far as we can. And by that we can understand, if we apply this level, we can do better. We can measure this is length. So how much work I do in one day, I can understand what is my capacity. It is called relative measurement. I cannot measure myself directly that this is my quantity of quality. There is no unit of measuring quality quantity. There is no measure. We can only assess, because everybody has different energies, everybody has different mental level, everybody has different thoughts, everybody has different working style, concentration. Someone concentrates a lot and someone doesn't concentrate a lot but thinks a lot for family, for a society, or for some problems. First of all, when we work, we should not think of problems, but we are human being. It happens. We can't do that 100%. We can't go into ideal state of no problem, because everybody is related to society, everybody is related to family, and there is no way that you can say all time, I know problems. Okay, fine, if you don't have problem. In normal situations I'm talking, because work doesn't use your problem for its betterment. Our people should understand problem is another way of, it has to be handled. And if you have problem, I am sure that problem shall come into impact, it will interfere into your work activity, and that should be avoided. It's for everybody. It's just like you are very tired, you want to drive or you want to work, and you are tired and your body doesn't allow, but you still work, and you involve in accident or incident or something happens. That can happen, and that situation is exception, which I did. But mind should be free of tension, or you can say worries, because worries become enemy of work. Work requires not only physical stamina but also, you can say, mind level in all activities. If you just go on doing some activity repeatedly and don't care for its quality, certainly you will waste everything. Everything we waste, and it's costly, it's time, it's hard work, and all that go waste or become second or third standard. Therefore, it's very important for everybody. We should understand value of quality, and I'm trying to explain more and more, because it is kind of skill. Means how to maintain quality is also, you can say, a type of highest profile skill. It doesn't mean you should be very highly qualified for that, but you should be committed, dedicated, you should have concentration, you should have peace of mind, you should have unison in work, you should have degree of harmony among your team, and engineers are best operators of that. Engineer is such a profession which on its own evolves, on its own does research, on its own leads itself, It's not necessary in engineering that you always refer to some resource, refer to some formula. In 90% of activities, we use common sense, particularly in civil engineering. You can say common sense plays a vital role. Common sense doesn't mean sense of meaning common, but it means general attitude towards work. There would be difficulties in work, but every difficulty cannot be solved by theory or by textbooks. Our textbooks lies in our brain. That textbook is our knowledge, our depth of subjects that we have studied. Those subjects, of course, would help technically to a large extent. But as far as administration of working is concerned, for an individual, it is that individual itself to administer. It's that individual itself to think how to take care of this job, how to do this job, and while doing this job, one can understand because one time you do it, first time, second time, third time, and it's a kind of coefficient comes to you. Time management, you can say, time organization, you can say how much time it takes. Maybe first time it shall take a lot time, second time lesser than lot time, and third time maybe at one stage you can say you'll get a constant coefficient. This is constant and my capacity is this. And same capacity applies for everybody. You are an engineer, there shall be another engineer, there should be another one, and all shall have different capacities, and it applies to every individual, not only to engineers. We say in studies of organization, conduct, or we call this management, that every answer is not available. It has to be extracted, and that's called working organization, working science, working management. You cannot find every answer from books because it depends on yourself. You are yourself a book. Everyone is a book. As far as you have a learned person, you are learned, others are also learned, and those who are learned in activities. Learned means it's not simply degree of engineering, it means work in engineering. What do you learn from engineering? Do you learn quality? Do you learn safety? Do you learn time? Do you learn value? Do you learn economy? Economy does not mean economy, what people understand, cost economy, finance economy. My economy is different. Just like ergonomics is different, ergonomics is also a kind of economy. Just we say you have to use your energy to optimum level to best level. It's also a kind of economics, means don't waste your energy, utilize it for maximum output with maximum quality. Ergonomics, because it's in fact use of energy, and that for those who work in offices in using minds, mind energy is considered, and those who work in fields, their mind energy as well as body energy both are considered together, because both are equally, or sometimes physical energy is used more, sometimes mental energy is more, and they have to measure themselves, or if they cannot measure, supervisor has to measure, engineer has to measure, and it's kind time organization management, or you can say how fast we can do. That's important because time is a very master factor in consideration of controls, and because time control, cost control, quality control, resources control, other controls, whatever, all controls are very important, and that's we have to learn. I'm just showing these pages only for your reference, but I'm speaking something, means not directly what is written. I am speaking from my mind, that good quality compliance applications, and for that we have to take care of every ingredient of work. Just like we say you are cooking some vegetable or you are cooking some dessert. When you cook that, you yourself skin out vegetables, wash them, and then you chip them. This you do. I'm just giving an example of vegetable cooking. You buy them, you wash them clearly, you wash them very sharply after skinning, and you say, no, it should be clean, there should be no insect in, there should be nothing, because you have to eat that. Same way, everything is to be done in a professional way, and that professional way you have to make. You have to make that professional way. Nobody can give you direct answer, because engineering is a development in itself. It's not something lying somewhere. Engineering means use of mind, and use of mind means use of your mind and others' mind. Use of your energies linked to mind and others' energies, because everyone is not capable to you can say scale out energy to requirement. Therefore, engineering is very different as far as we consider, and engineering itself is safety. Engineering is nothing else. It involves safety, it involves quality, it involves quantity, and it involves, in fact, time, cost, and quality, and other resources. And quality means everywhere it exists. You can say it should be present everywhere without any question, and it should be understood that whatever someone does, it should be according to quality requirement, and without that nothing should be done. I was talking about safety, and we talked a lot on inspections and audits in last talk, and this talk cannot stop. You see, inspections and audits, safety, quality, these are such talks which requires continued importance, which imports significance. You can say it. This imports significance. This can never be thrown away. This can never be full stopped. You cannot say we have applied full stop on this and that's okay. No, that's not done. In fact, every project is different, and we talked of some example of a project, industrial plant that was that what is contained on the such plants, what's possibility, and we have given some title. We are just repeating for your information, and then there is attachments also with that, and attachments are HSC audit team checklist, that is what we are going to speak now, then area safety inspection checklist, then safety inspection action plan, and monitoring and surveillance plan. So this is first is checklist, means everybody is an auditor. In fact, you are your own auditor. If you are not your own auditor, you can't work. Simply speaking, you are first auditor. You have to audit your work itself, and that is first requirement. I'm right that I am auditor of my work. Then others audit, peers audit, and you can say area safety inspection checklist and safety inspection action plan, and monitoring and surveillance. This is on some project, and there are before that there are certain definitions, audit activities particularly, and you can say HSC audit team particularly, audit scale. So there is audit, you can say audit instructions, what should auditors do, and we know what should they do. I'm not going to explain that again and again because it's no use, waste of time. So here is what we can say. I just had discussed this. You might have seen or heard. This equipment installed in accordance with approved area classification, and means equipments are installed in process areas, in every areas, whatever is that area, whatever this class, and whatever it should be audited. Means equipment installed according to requirement, you can say according to particular requirement, and that's the important point. Means equipments are installed according to particular requirement, and then fences around dangerous areas like flare tower or elsewhere that's installed or not installed. Then we have to see scaffolding or elsewhere or excavate somewhere else. You can say handrails and toe boards installed, or we have to audit that, and these are general. And because lack of inspection can lead to non-directions, and absence of directions can lead to incidents or accidents. And we have to say handrails and toe boards installed and adequate and Without obstruction, ASLs means ASLs, you understand, some narrow path on both sides people sit, narrow path, and on that narrow path there should lie no obstacle, nothing as maybe your stumble or your hit, that should not be present. And it may be aisles or walkways and headrooms, or whatever headrooms should be enough, it should be adequate that your head doesn't strike some slab or some other item, some other component. And of course, when it's a gathering or something else, or it's a crowded place, or there's big area, then at least two stairways or ladders for all operating platforms. When there's a pressure issue, pressure is involved on projects, on vessels, or somewhere else, pressure relief devices are installed. Then vents are taken care, where you can say offensive smell exists. Atmospheric vents installed sufficiently high to avoid injury to personnel from hot or toxic releases, because on projects of oil or refinery, or you can say chemical projects, chemical plants, such gases, such releases which are hot or toxic are generally available, unavoidable, and therefore atmospheric vents are very important to be installed. These are installed or these are not installed, though generally these are installed, but yet maybe these are not clear. So atmospheric vents properly positioned with respect to prevailing wind. And fireproofing, fire resistance materials are installed or not installed, because fireproofing is very significant. Fire resistance is very significant, at least to avoid from disaster whatever we have done. And then comes blast resistant provisions in those areas which are process areas, which are generally from center of that area to 200 meters in a circle, in a zone. If you draw a circle on that, you can say where center of area, process area, or you can say boundary of that process area rather than center, because it shall cause confusion. It should be 200 meters from that where blast effect goes on to be impacted, and these have to be taken care of. So we can say blast resistant walls and blow out panels installed where enclosed equipment potential danger exists. Okay, potential danger of explosion exists, and that blast resistant provision in those process areas, catchment process areas zoning are required to be conducted. In fact, whole process area in such plants is required to be considered as blast resistant, and then beyond that is blast, some part up to 600 meter is considered blast resilience, where effect is there but not to that extent, and beyond 600 meter or 610 something like that is free area, you can say there is no question of blast. So this all requires to be audited, and first requirement is you audit yourself from design level to prosecution or execution level. Adequate dikes installed around storage of flammable material. This is very simple. You have to provide protection where flammable materials are stored. You have to take all measures there that in case of flames, these should be confined to that area. Adequate ventilation installed in building containing flammable materials. So ventilation also important, not only dikes, because smoke should go out and there should be circulation of air. Uninterruptible power supply must be installed, UPS, which is very important in case of absence of power or power shed. We can use that and save our machines from break, or save our systems, computer systems, from loss of information. And that's very, because sometimes immediately if you instantly shut down, your computer hard disk can be impacted, can be crashed, it can crash. And also double valve where freezing is concerned, cryogenic material is concerned, your wells may not freeze. In case one freezes, other should not freeze. So you can say double valve installed in cryogenic services where a well may freeze. And these are only indicative examples, not necessary just for explanation what you should do, what necessary from safety, from quality, from this point of view. And we can say ready and safe access. Access should be clear, it should be tidy, it should be safe, it should be ready, particularly during an emergency time to valves, instruments, switchgear and equipment. When you have to access them, we have to, you can say it should be clearly ready and safe access must be provided to all these mechanical accessories like valves, like instruments. This is instrumentation, and then switchgear, electrical and all other equipment whatsoever. And for accessing up and down manually, when the ladders are provided, stairs are provided, both are provided, and this must be away from potentially hazardous area, because people use that and people should not be impacted directly. Only those people who are well experienced, well expert, they only can be allowed in such areas because they know how to handle emergency. Emergency escape routes identified. Escape route is very important because when there exists emergency, you have to run away, you have to leave that area, and therefore everybody should know what is escape route from there. Even if you are in an office, you should know what is escape route from office, or you may be somewhere in some store, you may be somewhere in warehouse, or you may be somewhere on site. From where how to move out, everybody should know. It's not that in emergency time, of course, warden will be there, but self-warning, self-acknowledgement, self-knowing information helps much better. Of course, at that time people get nervous. That stage of nervous should also be avoided, because being nervous doesn't help. It just creates more complexities. So emergency escape routes identified, always must be identified and explained to everyone by way of sketches or by way of drills, both way, because everybody cannot know meaning of sketches, everybody cannot understand drawings. So just by conducting certain drill, you can say, sometimes you can say, okay, it is emergency, you just alarm it, and people would react to that, and see how they react on those, whether they understand those routes which have been explained to them, and if you lead them and let them follow. Then emergency lighting is installed. Yes, of course, in emergency electric current is shut down, and temporary lights, you can say emergency lights work. We have to make sure these are installed or not installed, and that's because at night if it happens, you have to run away, and in darkness you cannot run away, will create more problems. Adequate fire and gas detection system installed or not installed, that's also to be audited. And whatever fire system is required, dry or wet, gaseous or whatever else, it should be detected. There is a fire, there must be some gas, due to gas or whatever reason, and whether fire water system is installed or not to suppress fire. And also battery limit block wells installed. Means battery is very important, where you can say battery limit where two systems are isolated, and those limit block wells installed. Guards installed around moving parts of equipment. Guards means protection from coming in contact with that part, and that is done by guard itself. Guard means a mechanical system of some protection. It's not guard sits there, that's not that one. And we can say safety showers, safety health and environment showers and eye wash stations installed and supplied with cool potable water. If there is a requirement of eye safety during emergency, eye wash is first step. And then if you have to take showers due to some reason, it is heavy dust or there's a storm, something happened to you, then first step is you have to clean yourself. So showers must be there. It's not very common, but something should be there, you can say. On major plants where thousands of workers are installed, they deployed, so 1, 2 or 3, or you can say even 0.1% chances exist the workers say 1,000 workers are there, 4 or 5 workers need that for that purpose. It should be available. I'm not saying if there are only 10, 15 workers. No, not in that case. Where there's an industrial project, there is no question of only 10 or 5 workers. In construction time, there will be 500, 600, 1,000, 2,000 workers on roll in one time. So there can be possibility of sickness, there can be possibility of whatever you can say emergency, because various groups work. Some work in isolation zone and some work in process zone, some work in administration, depending on where emergency comes in. Then electrical isolation and lockout system installed. I explained to you a lot in electrical isolation and lockout system. Similarly, we have learnt about lighting arrestor system installed through our references, and also grounding system installed that we learned through grounding system. Warning signs, traffic warning signs and all other warning signs internally as well as externally. These signs must be available in function, and we can say review process and utility designs to ensure that whatever failure results in safe conditions. So review process is always there. Actually, there is no formal review. Of course, there is review of documents, but it is seen every day where is problem, where is no problem, and it should be, because it is safety issue, it can impact your work. It should be clearly understood and everybody should be attentive to that. So these are certain points. There are many more points in construction, in mechanical, in others. It's not only this, there can be more points depending on what are your requirements and what should be audited in every project. In projects where buildings are included, where plants, foundations are included, vessel foundations are included, stationary vessel, and you can say equipment, vibratory equipment are installed, or you can say whatever different varieties are installed. There can be different audit systems, there can be different one, because it depends upon, we go further than we can say, it depends means what we are going to do. And of course we have to administer safety. We should understand what we are going to do, what we have to do. So we can say there should be good administration. And what is good administration? That is an important point. It's not simply safety administration. Safety is a part of administration. But what does it mean? I mean, we have to, whatever we do, systemize that. And that's it. We have to do what we see, we have to see what we are going to do. That's number one. That's what we can say part of analysis of a project. Administration starts from taking over or producing documents. That's a part of original administration. Design and you can say contract administration. We have to design some document, we have to design some project, you can say, and those project designs are produced in form of documents, and that is one part of administration. Or you can say this is design administration. This administration depends on intellectualism, this depends on efficiency, and this depends on how best can you view, or you can say foresee, what work you are going to do. It's not easy. Means one is that already work is done and you can see what is that. And one stage is that nothing has been done. You have to contemplate what's going to be done to meet requirements, to meet objectives. And that point is very significant, that we have to foresee technically, professionally, objectively what we should do, what we shall do. And that is really magnanimous point. It's a part of design, it's a part of feed, it's part of whatever. Means that is design administration, that is much more complicated. Of course, everybody is trained there, qualified in his own callings, in his own subjects. And that is more important to think further. Because it's not necessary when you say I am a designer, You have to give designs in different options. It's not only cost you take into consideration. You have to take consideration, of course, cost is very important. But sometimes cost cannot be clearly understood by inexperienced people. They learn to experience everything. So administration in safety we are talking of. So we have to see, we have to consider from very, very, you can say considerations, from many considerations, safety issues. We should not be simply horrified, oh, it's going to cost a lot. No. It bases because if you consider loss due to loss of safety, due to lack of safety, you can say due to absence of safety, what shall cost you? For example, suppose somebody loses life in fatal accident. It is question of then millions and millions, and even millions cannot replace that life. We cannot bring back that person who has lost life. That's a major point. So can you work out that cost? You cannot work out that cost. Therefore, we have to think that way. It's not simply what points are written there, you have to worry about them. Only, just like it's written, management communications, bulletins, memos, toolbox talks, management inspection, task talks, specialized talks, specialized training, notice boards and publicity, supervisory roles, follow-up, remedial actions, communication of rules. Okay, these are fine from administration viewpoint, but where is psychology here? Psychology impacts. We have to build positive psychology in everybody's mind, which means everybody should be hungry to know what one should do, what can happen if we do not keep safety standards or safety common sense. What shall happen if something goes wrong with me when I use some tools? If my fingers are amputated, if my some other part is amputated, or I lose blood, this point should be, considered by everybody. Means positive psychology factor must be understood. These written are okay. These are material based activities, means for management and communication. You have to use some information, you have to notify in form of bulletins or news, memos, but you think everybody listens, everybody reads it, that's a question, because it's of the psychology. Means some people wait for the information comes in at certain time and some don't care for that. Even if you conduct toolbox talks, it is not necessary that everybody listens to it or everybody can understand or everybody can question. That cannot happen uniformly. Somebody listens, somebody doesn't listen, and you do not know. Even if you question, maybe you get answer, but it doesn't mean that everybody has understood it, because it's question of life, it's question of safety. Everybody should be, you can say, should be induced a factor that you should be hungry for safety understanding. You should be hungry because question of your life. It's not question that you are going to get money because of that, but your survival is first, money is second factor. And we can say inspections done by management, and I am sure no management with whatever severe actions they do work, they cannot inspect thoroughly. They cannot inspect thoroughly. Whoever inspector does it, because it's not safety alone, it's many considerations. You do not know conduct of people, you do not know every material, you do not know conduct of every machine. So inspection is a formal one, just to make sure that something positive exists, safety exists. But that is not absolute or gross, it is referral only. I consider this referral, not original, subjective to conduct by people. subject to, you can say, how people take it. And same way you can say task talks. We talked of toolbox talks. Here is issue of task talks. Every task is different. There are many tasks in one activity. There can be hundreds and hundreds of talks in total work, total project. So that task, specific task is very important. And it also depends on each individual. Yes, if machines work there, that is different. Machines automatize there and they work together. There is no requirement of any person. But where there is a need in construction particularly, it doesn't happen. In production processes, you can automate maximum. But where workers are involved, that cannot be itemized, and all activities cannot be automized. That's also important. Specialized training, yes, specialized training doesn't mean thorough training. That is because of advancement of materials, advancement of objectives, advancement of products, advancement of technology. We can say that specialized training is also very important to be conducted. And all this we say they should be given publicity. Yes, publicity is okay. But you say public is public and workers are workers. They are also public to an extent that project controls are concerned. And notice boards and publicity, how much can you give them? You cannot tell them everything through publicity or notice boards. So therefore it is also constrained. Notice boards and publicity cannot send everything to them. Ultimately, from time to time and from another time to another time, there should be, group discussions, there should be interactions, and people should know that there is someone to ask, there is someone to take report. And those people are reliable, they should also know that. You should not just say, oh, you have to conduct safety, but you should also tell them, your safety is our safety. Every worker's safety is engineer's safety, is organization safety, and ultimately it is workers' family safety, workers' future safety, and our safety, because if workers' family is safe, workers' family are okay, workers are okay. In that case, I can say we are also okay as engineers or as organizers. Ultimately, our objective is not death of that person. Our objective is not that person should be sick. Our objective is our project should run safe and it should work safe in future, and that requires defined roles. You can say supervisory and surveillance roles, management organization roles, all other roles, and those roles can be achieved only when all, as we discussed, should happen perfectly. Of course, there are errors, there are, you can say, mistakes, you can say defects, and those also require remedial actions. We can say if there is some misconformance, non-conformance, you can say non-conformance to requirements has to be cleared, has to be checked out by whatever method best for that solution, for that problem solution. That's called remedial action, and that remedial action must be applied on non-conformance work, and if that can be successfully applied, and then it should not be repeated, that's also a point, until there is some control above our control which we could not understand. But I think we understand everything as far as works are concerned. If we concentrate, if we contemplate every time, then rules, etc., communication of rules. So it's safety administration, not simply to these points, these are just for referral. Again I say, administration means you should think of every point, technical point, non-technical point, administrative point, organization point, management point, and it won't take lot time. We are talking, it looks it's very lot, but when you practice it, it shall move very fast, because if errors happen, these happen very fast, and when good work happens, this also happens very fast, because every activity has lot items which are repetitive, and once you do that, you understand what we have done, it will be repeated well, no issue. That's important point, means even you repeat one action 10 times. So maybe first time, second time you find some problem in doing that. But after that work which you do first time, second time, you will know thoroughly how you have to do. So it looks very difficult if you see all these points, 9, 10 or maybe more. That administrative requires this much. No, it doesn't require this much. This is just, shortcuts. You for example, a bulletin memos, once you have to compose it, second time just edit something, your secretary would edit it and publish it. And talks, sometime, you are not going to talk 20 items a day. You are just going to talk one item, two item, or too many groups. You have to talk same item. So you can conduct 4 or 5 talks a day. It won't cost more than, I think, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Because you are not going to lecture them. You are just going to demonstrate to them how you have to use these tools. And that's why it is toolbox talks. You cannot simply theoretically tell them what you have to do. And I also don't say you call them for some video conference. It's just you show them how this works. And that's it. Maybe 20 people are there, 30 people are there, 40 people are there. We demonstrate to them just for 5 minutes how this work is done. So it won't take much of your time. And inspections means just walking. Sometimes you can inspect many items, not necessary to go to each closer. Means you are not going to take any measurement here. You are just going to see, just going to observe, view. And that can be done by walking briskly or normally. Just like we walk and see something has happened, it doesn't mean we go to every task to see what has happened. And we generally do it twice, thrice, or you can say every day, twice, thrice. Everything is in your mind. You can even from distance see where is an error. And that's what we can say, toolbox and management communication and management inspections, all these items works. Of course, specialized training is something we can consider of importance, because every training takes time. You cannot simply say, I told you do it. No, you have to train them. And that training, once conducted, that helps your project as well as your organization and your workers for coming future. So this is a very important point. This means you can say then health and welfare. Of course, health is very important. Without health, you cannot be, first of all, if my health is not good, of course, how can you say you are giving welfare? It's not welfare if my health is not good. And when my health is good, means I feel pleased, okay, fine, normally I'm okay. As far as this work is concerned, there I won't find any problem not to do it. And this applies to everybody, means on site or in organization or in manufacturing unit or in industries. Beverages required, for example, drinking water, sometimes chilled or sometimes coffee or sometimes tea, or you can say something. You need that. Of course, everybody is dehydrated, particularly industrial workers. They are dehydrated. Everybody cannot work. Everybody is not in air-conditioned room, and even if you are in air-conditioned room, you dehydrate, but you don't feel that. But because industrial worker sweats out, water comes out from body in forms of sweating, and the water is lost from body, and that has to be compensated. That's called hydration. So we can say when you drink water or you drink tea or something else or in some cup, it's dehydration reduction, you can say. It is reduction of dehydration, which means replenish lost water from your body. That means of that. Means we hydrate so that whatever water we have lost, that affects our blood circulation system. To recompensate it or reinstate that, we say, okay, that we have to replenish this loss of water, loss of humidity, loss of moisture from body, and we drink something so that whatever original state was, that was of saturation in body or moisture content in body, that should be replaced. And that's very simple. Means every 2 hours, every 3 hours, you should take some drink, water, tea or something, even if you don't feel it. And tea is something you can take anytime, there's no problem. Tea is like, just like if you have a chance to drink it, means there is no need that this is no time for me, I can't digest this. Such digestion is not a question in water, in cold water or in hot water. And hot water means people don't take directly hot water, they can take a cup of tea Even if you don't want sugar, don't use sugar. If you don't want milk, don't use milk. Just take tea leaf and water and boil it and drink it. And means your body liquid content should not be reduced, and that's very important point. If these contents are reduced, you reduce yourself. And then because toilet doesn't all time you go for passing your stool, urine passing and hand washing are very important facilities these days. Washing of hands after use of toilet is very important because of infections are to be avoided. And particularly these days when COVID-19 like virus has come to our life, which is not expected to leave our life, I think, in a couple of months, couple of years. So it's very important to use hygiene means on your body. When you drink water, you have to use cup or glass well washed, and if possible, it should be hot water washed. And you can drink water, you can drink tea. For that purpose, toilet facilities are important. And toilet facilities should be well cleaned, well maintained. Toilet facilities must have water supply at least in working time. And everybody should be clear, hygienic, and must wash your hands. Wash your possibly face also. And for that purpose, available toilet facilities is significant. Because not only you have to wash that time, after work you have to wash. Your hands are oiled, your hands are greased, your hands are cemented, your hands are dusted, your face is dusted despite using mask. Maybe at least face, mouth, nose, ears, hair, they should be clear of impurities, foreign elements. For that purpose, washing, it's very common, I should not explain it at that level, but because on work, dust enters your nose, which can cause infection. Dust can enter your eyes, which can cause infection, because chemical particles are also available in that. In air, we respire all time. Air particles and chemicals along with that air can enter our nose, and we can also invite entry of then COVID-19 virus. So what I mean to say, these are very nominal measures. These do not need so much expenditure also, and health is maintained. And when health is maintained means people are happy, they should remain happy, they should remain worries free, is what I can say. And there are many points in health that it's not question of tea or coffee, it's question of they should feel happy. Lunchtime, they should take good food as far as possible, whether organization provides or they have to eat their own. And it should be plenty time for eating. Now, you come back in 15 minutes. No, it's not possible. And of course, rest is a must. If you give them half an hour, even it's good for them for lunch. And also, if night duty, at that time too, they have to eat something. So we can say we should be human first. And we should not keep in all time, if I provide these safety measures, I will raise cost of company. I don't think that is logical. There is no such logic. It doesn't exist at all. It's only our hypothesis, our speculation, or you can say degree of speculation, and you can say we do not know what we people are. We do not care for them. We have to care for them. That's where it should be possible. Then we can say emergency procedures. Emergency cannot tell you I am coming. Emergency is not your informer. It can't act your informer. It only comes with impact. Rain cannot tell you I am coming. Yeah, it can give some indication, but it won't tell I am coming, take care. It will come and will not take you. It will just go. Just like sun never tells you I am coming, it comes and you can't say go. Because they don't listen to you. Natural agencies don't listen to you. That's a fact which you must learn. Don't think we'll control it. You cannot control them. Yes, you can take safety measures. Just like in rain time, you can use umbrella, but it doesn't mean you have stopped rain. Yes, you have stopped. You have diverted that water which could fall on you towards your periphery of body, or you can say you diverted it to, you can say about 50-60 centimeters from center of your head. So it doesn't fall on you. And same thing you do in sun rays, particularly those people don't like to have sun rays of vitamin D. They use umbrellas on their heads and they avoid impact of sun rays. Same way you cannot stop dust storm, you cannot stop winds, and you cannot stop anything. So what only this emergency, though these are not emergency, but excessive is emergency. You can say if there's a 160 kilometer or 40 kilometer per hour wind, it's not normal. Normal is 30, 40, 20, 30, okay, fine for work. But it is with such pressure it comes, the speed is created because of heavy build up of pressure. It is not normal, automatically it's built up. Because of some other reasons, if such natural emergencies can come, I am not calling it calamity, but emergency only. There can be fire on fires, there can be fire breakout, there can be some other accident, and there can be abuse of tools. You can say tools accident, tools related accidents, and we can say all these are emergencies on works, and for this we should have emergency procedures, well defined, well understood, not even defined. Sometimes we say I have gone through this, but then after some time you find it's gone out of my mind. So what I say, in such case, in whatever case of emergency comes in to you or it's impacted upon you by nature, then what is rescue equipment for every such emergency, that must be known to everyone. It's not only that you show them, they should know in that case, in that critical juncture, how to use it. And of course, for that, if it's possible, you conduct drills, and drills is kind of demonstration, you can say, practical demonstration. That demonstration should tell everybody what should be done in such haphazard happening time. Emergency transportation, of course, ambulances, you can say, for people who are sick, or transportation like normal one, buses, so that you can, if required, you can take out your workers from affected zone through assembly points, and they can be transported to somewhere else, which is decided by management or organization that these people should go out or remain safe. And then communication is very important. If communication is not effective, it doesn't work. You cannot pass information to workers what has happened or what should they do. Therefore, communication is vital role here, is vital responsibility. Without communication, you cannot go to everybody and say this has happened, because you have to take your safety as well. So communication through mobile phones or through some other landline phones, or whatever way they think is best for that, announcements or whatever, that should be adopted. And muster point, as I told you about this assembly positions, assembly locations, where people have to assemble before leaving that area. Assemble there for purpose of head count as well as for purpose of somebody is missing, to know it where it is. So muster points must be understood well, located at some place which is not obstructive, which is free for all, convenient one. And we can say alarms and windsocks. These are very important, very normal procedures. That announcement is there, alarms are there, and we can hang windsocks also, so that it tells us what's direction of wind, and in that direction there is danger or no danger. People should keep a watch on that, not concentration, but sometimes in once or twice where is, even though you feel which direction wind blows, but we don't care sometimes. And fire equipment, which are fire equipment, fire extinguishing equipment, not fire equipment, extinguishing equipment, fire suppressing equipment, carbon dioxide cylinder or powder cylinder, dry powder cylinder, or maybe pressured water, immediately, which can be used for purpose of taking precautionary measures, emergencies to be dealt. And there are so many other points as well. It's not simply this one. You can say in offices, some drills are conducted, on site drills are conducted, and there can be some falls from somewhere. You can say dummy you can use for falling. So people say, oh, this has fallen, this is a good that, this is that, or we have to take it to hospital. How can you do in that situation? And if there's some opening of shutters and people fall on that, there's also emergency, and how we deal with that. All such requirements are very important in safety measures. Safety is not simply walking on site and telling others what's happened. Means we have to take care to handle it. That's very, very important. We cannot say we can't handle it. We have to handle it. It's a question of lives and death. It's not because we have to save them. It's our responsibility to extend help all times in such cases, irrespective of which company we are, which organization we are. We should respect humanity, and if we do not respect humanity, we are not engineers. We cannot be called owners, and we cannot be called at all, Even dogs care for everyone, for their own community. So we should be little considerate toward them, because they are our destiny makers. Our workers are our destiny makers. They are not spare parts. They are not something to be used and thrown away, because our work depends on them. Our future depends on them. We use their energies for us, because it's world. They have to earn. And earning doesn't qualify to be called losing point. Earning doesn't mean that you kill someone. If I don't take care, this means I am a killer. You can simply say, or I shall become killer one day, because I did not take their care. Likewise, we can say access routes to high levels or low levels, using ladders, using ramps, using stairways, guardrails, housekeeping, etc., etc. These are non-ordinary access and egress. If you have go to some trench, excavated trench, or you have go to some higher level, ladders are required, metallic ladders on initial sites. Ramps are required, not very steep ramps, normal ramps. Of course, not by bylaws of building, so not talking of that. Feasibility approach is important. Our people should not sleep on that ramp, first of all. And our vehicles should not apply more and more efforts, more energies or energy on that to handle. We can go easily up and come down without skid. And of course, stairways we have to provide temporary or permanent, that depends on where you do it. And scaffolding has to be managed. Likewise, you can say housekeeping, guardrails. Sometimes housekeeping is not given due care, because they think, oh, nothing will happen. What's the problem with that? And that can lead to accidents. It's not only cleanliness I'm talking here. I'm talking obstruction-free housekeeping. Generally, people don't care for cables lying on floors or passing through this. People, okay, no problem, we'll remove it in 5-10 minutes. And the 5-10 minutes, somebody comes and doesn't think of where it's coming to, but think of problems on site, and that can stumble, and that can lead to fracture, or it can lead to something else. We have to take care, same with guardrails and kick plates. And housekeeping, as I said, housekeeping doesn't mean washing. Housekeeping means every care for everyone who is in this house, in this building, any time. So everybody has to be taken care of. Then we can say personal protective equipment, which is very common also in our world. Personal protective equipment are very common, and that is for head, eyes, foot, ears, we can say. Not written here, but ears. Hearing is there, yes, hearing protection. Respiratory protection, nose, you can say. Hand protection, gloves, you can say. Safety harness. So these are that, and there can be many, many more. So you can say head, that is hard hat. We use hard hat or helmet. For eyes, we use shields, like you can say eyeglasses or safety glasses. And shields also sometimes we use. Same way, foot protection means safety shoes we use, and ear protection we take care of by equipment or by some cotton piece, whatever can be possible. And then through nose, respiratory protection. We can use mask also. We can use oxygen cylinder too, depending on what is best, what is usable at that time, how to meet that requirement. And gloves for work. Gloves helps also in skin protection, and your use of gloves is very significant from that viewpoint. Safety harness when you work at heights, this prevents you, or even you can say fall arresters. Likewise, there are so many, not one. Then we can say now activity based it is excavation. Excavation, everybody knows that it is first requirement on all projects. You are going to construct industry, you are going to install some machine, you are going to do whatever you want to do, what you plan to do. You are going to construct some building, or you are going to conduct some soil investigation. Whatever you do, excavation is that item which leads all other item. I can say lead because it's item of start to allow permanent work to come into its position or to be installed. And that's why excavation, though it's not considered that that valuable item, but it's very valuable. If this is not site prepared, I mean to say, if you are not going to fill to raise levels, but you have to excavate as normally it exists. If you have to excavate up to 1 meter, 2 meter, maybe more for basements. And excavation is very important activity. In fact, it is activity without which nothing can move. Nothing can move. Excavation is important because, not because it requires safety only, it requires safety of life services. It's not question of plant I'm talking in general. There are possibilities that running services work below excavation or within excavation. This can be whatever type of services, electrical service, cable and gas service, or you can say mechanical services, piping, or whatever you think it exists. These services, if passing through our design of foundations, then it's very critical. It's very critical. We have to take care of services, and that's very expensive one, particularly in refinery areas, in oil areas, because if you break something, if you even break telephone cable, in old time it happens that there was no such equipment, no such facilities available, which are now available. Excavation requires thorough care. Though if you have made up ground, then there is no question of services coming below foundation. But when comes, you have to take care of everything. Generally, interior plumbing and sanitary, when you start taking discharge from number 1 point and it goes to number 2, number 3, like that, it moves throughout your envelope. What we discussed, that magnetic envelope, it will work. So we have to take care of people that they should not fall into excavated trenches. Machines should not fall into those trenches from ground. So it should be sloped, it should be benched, it should be short. Slope is required if can be done, if it can help, slope can be done. Benches can be done if these work for people to walk also without causing real settlement. And of course, that's considered short. We can provide side supports in that trench so it doesn't fall in. And if there's another way of excavation that we are going to use diaphragm walls, which is big one, and if it takes care, then diaphragm valve can be a cause. Well, generally all accidents happen during excavations. I'm not talking of high rise, but particularly on ground. Something new goes on, people gather there just to know who is celebrate. Therefore, we can say we should not allow any nuisance on site while excavating. Excavated material should immediately be shifted to approved area where all further work shall be done on this. Access egress, spoil clearance, machine man interface, adjacent structures, UGC utilities protected, all that must be done, and that's very important point. If we do not do that, we cannot say we do professional work. We cannot say we take care of our workers. And I would say only responsible work of excavation should be done under control of responsible person. If engineer exists, that's fine, or at least senior supervisor or foreman should take care of that for better working. Warning signs must be installed. Warning signs, working spaces also required. Access exercise is required, shoring is required, and if required is dewatering if that is necessary. If water levels are high, if nature of soil is such that it allows permeability of water, permeability of material through water, depending on conditions on site. I have experienced that monotony, or you can say constant impact on mind, particularly on excavation, because it's not creative item. It requires your skill, worker's skill, machine operator skill, how to maximum use it can be done. And over excavation also is very dangerous because you have to backfill it again, backfill in a way of activity. It's gone down and you have to raise it up. So it's true that we are not going to use waste material on that, but safety is very, very important there. Underground utilities, as we said in the beginning of this, must be protected, and these should not be allowed to be punctured. Gas pipes may be there, electric cables, armored cable may be there, or some other important utilities may be there for running area requirements. But these are all very important points, technical points. Even some cases hand excavation is required using water jet or something else. Hand excavation is also conducted before running to main excavation. Then we can say very important point of project is lifting plant and equipment. It's not simply lift plant and equipment, we can say. Generally, cranes are utilized. Tower cranes, mobile cranes, these are utilized on all projects for purpose of lifting something. These are very normal, you can say, projects. Very big cranes are used. You can say at varying heights, tower cranes are used. They have all different capacities. We have to make sure that these cranes are well maintained, they are well fitted, well delivered, and well installed. These cranes can generally lead to accidents because we do not understand capacity of these cranes. This crane's capacity must be very clear to everyone. It's not that we should only refer to available information. That's okay if you have. Otherwise, we can calculate it technically. And that calculation gives us an answer. What is your capacity? It's no joke. We cannot take it for granted. We cannot take it for granted. Because cranes are very expensive and we have to use them in the best possible manner for our activities, keeping safety within requirement. Cranes can, you can say, fall also. Booms can fall because of we used overcapacity. We did not care for its rated capacity. So generally cranes must be taken care of for maintenance. This can be handled, this can be operated only by approved personnel, by experienced technicians or operators, and machine condition should be safe, it should be certified, and even certificates fine, but real performance is important. How can we do it? Because crane is very expensive and it gives production as well. Then there is hoists and winches which moves vertically, which can transport small goods on various heights, various floors. So those heights and those winches can fall by failure anytime, whatever time. So we have to think of, are these suitable all times? Are these fitted all times? Then comes after hoists, excavators. Excavator is also very heavy machine. You have seen all here. In our country also generally they call it JCB or JVC I think. Yes. And it's considered as only machine here, but it's very small machine. It's not very heavy, it's heavy and it is used for excavation in many buildings I have seen. And there is, you can say, bigger excavator also, which can be more than 300 bhp. That's also used on major projects, and not only one, but in a number of, you can say 10 excavators, I have seen sometimes 5 excavators working same time. So maintenance of these machines is very important. Hydraulic oil can break, something else can happen generally, and every time we have to call servers. Those only can help us. Shackles and hooks of cranes. Shackles and hooks, you can say, are also very important because these should have adequate capacity that crane states or that machine states. Wire ropes also must be inspected properly because this also can cause problems. Wire ropes. Equipment should be certified, and certificate doesn't mean piece of paper, it means real certificate. Real certificate means checked one, inspected one, done one. Then we go to storage of lifting equipment. That's okay. We store them properly. We store them at area where maintenance is done, where some people, some staff is available to maintain them, and every day it should be done. Every day, every time of use, when we use it, we have to take care of this through operator, through expert. We have to examine it properly. Then you can say vehicles. Vehicle, generally these are also vehicle we talk, but vehicle means transportation for human beings or for some goods. Those vehicles which can be pickups, single cabin, double cabin, which can be cars, which can be trucks, dumpers, transit mixer, likewise. We have to take care of everyone. Otherwise, we won't do justice to ourselves. We won't do. Backup alarm. Of course, vehicle condition should be fit for sites particularly. We have to take care of tires. We have to take care of engine. We have to take care of fitness of machine, of vehicle, all time. Because everybody drives them, all staff members, engineers, and even required some workers can take care of that. We have to be worried about that because that leads to impact on safety. Backup alarms, I said, tires, brakes, and lights all should be fit, and operators should be competent one. Electrical systems. Again, say electrical facilities are temporary, and these will also be permanent when we provide for works. But we are talking for facilities during work, during project, work life, project run. We are talking about that. And that is very specific. Temporary electrics. We discussed a lot on this. Again, I say, if you care about housekeeping everywhere, not only in the establishment of a cabin or caravan or offices, it's on site, it's in all places on site. All places. We cannot just jump out and say no, we have to take care of that. Temporary electrics, residual current devices, earth leakage breakers, warning signs posted, cable organization, fittings and connections. And that is electric systems. I think you know what I mean. Temporary electrics must be understood. Just give me a couple of minutes, I'll be back. It's very important one. Electrical, I cannot run blindly on this. I'll be back within a couple of minutes. I go up and come down. So, electrical, we have to take electrical care. Yes, just a minute. Electrical care we have to think of, because temporary electrics is very problematic on sites, particularly when people become little careless. And on major projects, temporary electrics is not at one point. Activities may be running at 50 locations, 20 locations, 40 locations. People are working 20 here, 30 there, 40 there. In workshops they work, for preparations they work, for temporary works, for permanent works. Miscellaneous works go on site, and electric power is used everywhere. It's not simply in theory I'm just talking. If you visit some site, particularly site is spread over, and not even if you visit building sites where large number of buildings are constructed, or even one building is constructed, and at different floors you shall find temporary works going on, works go on, and electric power is used, mechanical power is used, whatever equipment are used everywhere, and we cannot avoid it. There can be no way we can avoid it, because work is to be done, work requires to be done, and we have to use that power efficiently. That is electrical based equipment. Maybe it can be electrical based equipment, it can be diesel based equipment or petrol based equipments. There can be compressors, there can be generators, there can be vibrators, there can be welding works, there can be some grinding works, there can be some drilling works. You can say in many activities, long list of activities are involved everywhere. That long list activity can differ from work to work. It can differ from project to project, from working stage to working stage. First, take example, you are working in a building, first floor, ground floor, or roof. Everywhere different activities go on. If you are doing a structural work, activities go in open, means there is no way that you can shield yourself from weather conditions. For example, you do shuttering work, foam work, or you do your reinforcing work, or you do electrical activity one, for example conduiting, or you do some other activity. Somewhere you have to use drill machines, somewhere maybe you have to use welding equipment, somewhere you have to use grinder, or somewhere you have to use saw, electric saw. Means it depends on what activities you do on sites. And it is also not possible in such cases that you can hide electric cable that connects to your tool or to your work. There is no, we can say, temporary way you can even hide them. On grounds you may say you embed it in soil or somewhere, that is different. But while you working on slabs, for columns, for structural slabs, for some other such activity which is instantaneous, say for half an hour, which you can say Even during that half an hour, that cannot stay in same route. You have to sometimes go upon shutters, you have to sometimes go to some other column, preparatory work, you have to go somewhere else. Sometimes holes are required in forms, sometimes some bars are required to be cut due to some reason, or sometimes you have to use cut to site requirement of form work for some purpose. Means you have to frame some timber, you have to use some timber for framing some AC blockout or plumbing blockout, depending on what activity you are doing. In those cases, on-site use of tools is necessary, but it is not simply you blind your eyes and do it. You can't do that. Cables would be on floor, RCC floor, and people shall be working around you. They will not care for your cable concentratively. They will also come down. They may go to toilet, they may go to urinal, they shall go for lunch, and during lunch you may leave it there itself without even caring for that. It happens. This is based on practical experience. This happens, and it can lead to undue bad acts. This can lead to incidents when people talk even about work. Of course, I'm not saying they talk on videos, they talk on mobiles. They do talk. How can you control? People are used to mobile. They don't understand that use of mobile on work at heights, walking on floor while talking, and also talking while doing work with tools. And you are involved in cable stumbling. Cable cannot ask you not to come on it, but you are busy, your mind is busy somewhere else. Your mind is unable to see cable, and that loose cable either is hung up due to someone is working at height, or tool is lying on floor. You can fall and you can break cable also. Both ways are there. Cable can break, or tool can fall, or you can fall. In every case, there are chances of sparking, there are chances of injury to your body, and there are chances that equipment may break. This is not easy. It is very elementary, of course, but it causes accidents. There's diversion of concentration from a grinder operator who uses grinder due to some reason of mobile alarm, mobile you can say bell, or there will be some other reason, diversion due to talk, and finger can be injured, or even something else can happen. And that is very, very expensive in terms of health loss, finance loss, life loss. This is very easy to say, we will take care of this, but concentration is disturbed due to whatever reason. You cannot say supervisor was not present there, engineer was not present there. It's not fault of engineer or supervisor. You are using equipment. You know, you have been explained through toolbox talk what measures should be taken. And why should you think somebody should be there to ask you not to do this? You are doing that. Until you do finish that activity, you have to take all measures. You have to be there and you tell everyone, I am working on this. If you want to pass on this, don't pass on this, don't walk on this, walk some other way. That is required because there is no other way. You cannot conceal that. People would come and go. because many people work on that floor. So it is different kind of safety measure. You can say it is attentive safety measure. Don't either work in that time when no one is there is no problem, or if you have to work during normal hours, then we have to take care. And these systems are very dangerous sometimes. So we have to be very careful. Sometimes we leave on site, we see it happens that we have left saw there, human hacksaw or carpenter saw. We leave generator there itself, portable generator. Sometimes, compressors are raised onto slabs and their pneumatic hoses lie here and there. This happens. You can say sometimes people even forget to switch them off, and that leads to very problems. So residual current devices, earth leakage breakers, and you should put even warning signs on roof, on your slab if you wish. Work goes on, but that generally doesn't happen because everybody can see each other. But on major sites, you can say, even on building sites also, when you do welding work, it's very dangerous. I have seen here in market, nobody cares for safety. Nobody cares for safety. Welders in fabrication shop, they do welding openly. They don't care whether it impacts eyes of passers-by. They don't care. There is no curtain, shield, there is no protection. And you can't do anything because it is public. Who questions and who answers? Even if you ask them, they will laugh. It happens. Okay, in projects where there is control, there we can say warning signs are fixed, or separate temporary area can be created for purpose of welding, or people are not allowed in that area till that welding goes on. Just like we can say when we have to test our radioactivity, we have to test our you can say weldings, we have to test something else on projects. We have to handle radioactivity. For that purpose, we isolate those testing areas by embankments or by whatever reason. We do not allow, we isolate those areas because we have space on major projects and no one is allowed there during that time. Well controls are there, we have talked of that in our radioactivity controls. Warning signs, not only warning signs, there are controls, major controls, and those cannot be done in every activity. Means some activities are very, very small, very, say sometimes for 1 hour, 2 hour or 1 day, 2 day. Only way is that we have to manage, we have to understand, we have to employ people for safety, we have to install warning signs, we have to check all electrical devices, we have to make sure that cables are not exposed, and we have to see fittings and connections are all okay. These are all done on projects, but in general life nobody cares. Even for temporary electrics, they don't care. They don't care for their distribution boards. Public is public, but we are professionals. We have to understand. Sometimes your own people don't listen at home, that happens, but you have to explain to them. And they say, we are not engineers, we don't care for this. It happens, don't take it otherwise. Electrical is very important from each and every viewpoint. Electrical cannot be taken for granted because it is energy. It looks that we will take care of that, but in fact we miss that. And generally we see that it happens due to lack of care. I have one incident which is very bad, of course, but it is in my area at home. Though it's not related to project, it is for general life. I still remember, and with very bad feeling. There was one house, and out of that house boundary, there was one tree. I think it's called what is that? Amla. Amla. This tree was amla one, and there was one 11 kVA overhead line passing near that tree top. One young man, one young boy, he brought some steel pipe, long one, in greed of taking down amla fruits, and he could reach that top of tree by using that, and of course standing on boundary wall, that too had steel railing. Boundary walls are generally railed for protection from thefts. That person was taking down amlas, and unfortunately that steel pipe reached to electric wire. That electric wire, which was transmitting 11 kVA power, 11 kVA current voltage. You know what happened? You should know that. It's not unimaginable. He was caught and he was electrocuted just for sake of some greed. That person lost its life. That's what I'm saying. Electrical is sometimes very dangerous. Maybe that person didn't know there was overhead lines. And nobody puts symbols in our country, no signs. And particularly in residential areas, nobody bothers for anything. That is our weakness. We call a knowledge society, but we cannot even provide signs. And also in other countries I have seen, in residential areas, everything is not organized. That's why I try to stress on safety issues, particularly from very, very, very points that can cause accidents, that can lead to unease of life. And you see, if somebody loses life for nothing, this is really painful for everybody. This happened in my experience. Nobody can do. Person has gone. Okay, that was fault of person. And it happened not only with this. In this case, in many cases it happens. You see, during lightning, in rain, people take selfies. They are happy. In open, in rain, when there is electromagnetic, sometimes lightning works, some signals work, and there have been reports that they have lost their lives. 4 people, 5 people, they lost their lives. Some people walk on tracks or on roads using mobiles, and their heads are connected to headphones. They don't listen even to horns. They don't listen even to railway engine alarm. And they are involved in accidents. So after all, just for small facility, you are ready to use your life. This means you fail to concentrate. You fail to realize the value of your life. Once it goes away, there is no way it can come back. So my dear friends, it's very important to understand this point. If we can understand this point, we can understand a lot. Life is not that easy as we think it is. But care can be taken for safety. That is easy. And particularly on works, it should be taken care of. We cannot handle public. That is beyond our control. And police and other people do not care. Nobody cares for safety. Even if you drive, people don't care for safety. They don't care for driving mechanism. They only drive. Even in rain where water logs you see on roads, people drive at a speed of 180. They don't care for that it can lead to slippage. Roads are wet, water logged. They don't care for anything because nobody told them, nobody trained them for that purpose. Even if nobody trained them, they should try to learn how to handle cars, vehicles in rain, how to handle vehicles in bad weather conditions. They should know it. But it doesn't happen. Even in residential areas, they drive speed. That is not acceptable. Water is full on road and you are driving fast. You are risking your life, your vehicle, and you are going to risk others. Are you educated or not? That is a question. Why don't you respect others? Why don't you respect your family? Why don't you respect yourself? It's not respect for a dignity, it is respect for safety. Everybody has life, right? And also means it is just an example I am giving. Generally on projects, we call defensive driving is significant and very important. What is defensive driving and what is offensive driving? We have to get this point. For my understanding, there is one driving that's called normal driving or rated driving under control. There's called another driving that's offending driving, which is beyond my control but I drive. And that's another one that is defensive driving, which is not only normal but below normal in a control state. Normal driving means you can drive 40 if it is required, you can drive 60 if it's acceptable, you can drive 80 if it's acceptable, or 100. I think more than 100 it is rare in some countries, maybe where very good roads, but 120 was normal in some countries, maybe plus minus 10 kilometers. And if you take in cities, it was never more than 80, sometimes 60. 80 is normal in major cities. So you can drive with that speed, that's normal control. And of course you have to take control on roundabouts, you have to take control on red lights, you cannot just jump them. And when you say, okay, there's a defensive requirement on particularly on projects, especially for projects, because on building projects this problem will not come, but on projects where you take your cars, your vehicles inside complex of that vast project where there are so many internal loads available to drive, before work goes on, permanent works goes on, development is done for roads, maybe it is temporary or permanent, that's separate, but that driving is full driving. I mean to say, it's not just a few distance, few kilometers, it's circulation, complete circulation, and cars, trucks, heavy vehicles, machines, trailers, all come in that area, all use those roads. There we cannot drive our way. Speed limits are given, 20 kilometer, 30 kilometer, 40, not more than 40 anywhere. And we have to take care of those speeds. I think 20, 30 is maximum, not even 40. And there it's not speed alone. Signs are of course there, traffic signs. Traffic signs are installed, but even then there is always a training and test for controlled driving and defensive driving. Controlled driving test you conduct in your testing of license. They test your low speed and high speed driving. Though in our country it doesn't happen, unfortunately. In Gulf countries it's very common, because I qualified Qatar license in 1987, and I qualified UAE license in, I think it was somewhere in 2007, like that, 7 or 6. And I also qualified again Saudi license in 2010, and I qualified again, you can say, license in Qatar. I qualified license of our country as well, but I did not find any problem when I was tested in our country, because very simple test it was. But in Qatar, really, I had to learn in 1987. 1987, you see, I had to go to school for 1 month. I had to learn for 3 inside tests, means in driving school itself, and one was reverse S with box. Reverse S, I mean, there's a reverse. You have to drive your car in reverse direction in S form, and then go to box and then come out again. This was one part of test. And another one was, you had to go back reverse, turn for L and go to ramp, park there and come back. I mean, stop there and come back, come down. It is another one, and that was box parking. You have to go into box in reverse safely, then come out safely. These were inside tests, indoor tests, and before these tests were training of theory. Then after you qualify these tests, you had to go on road, and on road they will test both low speed and high speed, both. Inside they cannot do that, only 0 speed you can say, or speed of 2 km, 3 km approximately you can say. But on road they will go to 20, 30 or 140 even, depends. And if you can't qualify that, you would not be issued driving license. This happened in Qatar. It happened with me though in UAE, Abu Dhabi, and I got one license from Saudi. So I felt there that they were professional organizations. This was police control, of course, but they understood what is life. I remember those days when I qualified those tests. For 1 month I attended classes, and then I was examined, and one day I qualified that. I was lucky because I concentrated on that, and there were many people who could not even qualify in 3 years and 4 years. So what I am saying is, it is your intensity of learning. How can you learn? I don't know how I diverted. So I was talking actually of defensive driving, which I missed that. So defensive driving is in fact very important, which means you do not offend others. First you take care of others and then take care of yourself. And certainly if you while driving you take care of others, you shall take care of yourself, certainly, no doubt. I'm saying, oh, this person may impact me, so I should keep myself safe so that that person is also safe. You got me? If I drive in a way, okay, let that person go first, no problem, I will follow later. And that person is an offender. If you encounter that person, you shall also become counter offender. So let offender go away and you keep defensive. Even if you have to slow down, or even if you have to give way to that person, give way. Don't go into competition with that person, because it's question of drivery, it's question of driving, and I don't want to lose my life, and I don't want to lose the life of others. I don't want to meet any accident, and that's called defensive driving. Defensive driving means first keep others safe and then you keep yourself safe. And certainly when you keep others safe, you are safe. If somebody wants to bypass, let him bypass. If somebody wants to overtake, let overtake. Means, why should I risk myself just for a couple of minutes? Means if I am angry, oh no, why you are giving me dimper, oh come on, I start arguing for nothing. Arguing means, I enter into a driving habit that is wrong at that time. If horns, I give horn, no, don't give. Let that anxious person enjoy, but I have to keep in consideration my defense and defense of that person, and that's called defensive driving, particularly on projects. Major one, it's admissible, it is acceptable. If it is 20 means 20, that's it. If it is 20 means 20, and where is parking, you park there only. Don't park elsewhere. We have to keep sight clear. We have to keep people safe, and means abide by rules and take safety better than rules. That's also very important. Then we come to compressed gases, which is also energy. Very important part of life. Electrical is also energy. Gases means cooking gas. Gases means cylinders, and gases means gases on sites. It's not only cooking. On sites we use oxygen, acetylene, oxyacetylene we call it. In homes we use LPG, or we call it propane. We use many such supplies. We use through piping or we use through cylinders. Both systems work. Piping is supplied, surfaced one, through up to your location in kitchen, and a tank is kept on roof of your home, from where it is supplied like water distribution system. It is gas distribution. And another one is having mobile cylinder, which is kept in your kitchen, and you connect your chula, or you can say your burning equipment on the connected to that one through hose, gas hose. So we have to take care of these cylinders. These cylinders are high pressure cylinders, metallic one, because gas is available not in form of gas but in form of liquefied gas. Liquid gas it is. This gas, if abused, it can cause accident. Cylinder vertical keeping, if you keep cylinder vertical, that is only way during use and during transport. It should be vertical, it should not be horizontal. Keep one point in mind. Do not handle it bluntly, handle it safely. Do not keep cylinder horizontal on your shoulder, as I have seen people do that, or even in some vehicles I have seen cylinders laid down, even laid down, particularly in filled position. It should not be laid down. Okay, in when it's empty and there's nothing in that, though it's not guaranteed. Cylinder should be carried vertically. That is only way. It should be perfectly sealed, and it should be transported in isolation. Storage should be separate for all classes of gases, propane or oxygen, or you can say acetylene. All should be separately stored, probably with fire shields in between. They should be given distance. We have talked in our previous videos that this much should be distance between them. Cylinders should not be damaged. Don't use damaged cylinders. Test them according to specifications Don't throw them. Color coding is given, follow that. Color coding of cylinders and color coding of hoses, both are there. Warning signs are required. And when it works, this flash while we use cylinder. Even in our kitchen we use cylinder, during use it's flash. Flash means it should not go back. That point we have to understand. If it wants to go back to cylinder inside, means where there is gas, it should be arrested. Flashback arrestor is a must, and this is there in every regulator. But I'm just telling as information that flashback arresters must be there, so that flash should not go back to gas. If it goes back to gas, it will explode. It will explode. Therefore, cylinder's quality is very important. Its regular quality is also very important, and quality of hose is also very important. Flashback arresters, then you can say fire extinguisher. It must be there. Maybe dry powder, maybe carbon dioxide, maybe pressured water. All these extinguishers are required depending on situation. If cylinder is secured, that is chained with trolley, it's okay, fine. Condition of hose we have to see, should not leak, and we should not use flame near hose. We have to take care, because by mistake what happens, something is hot on your tray, on your flame tray, and immediately you keep it down near your hose. That is very dangerous. Sparking containment, there is, it should be taken care of, it should be reported. Do not play with anything, do not test anything using flame, that is very dangerous. And many accidents are reported every day or whenever some news comes. Then we go to hand and power tools. I'm just trying to explain more and more on safety. It's not necessary what I have given in writing, what I have shown to you. Only that's enough. Hands and power tools. Because tools, as I said in beginning, again also in between, what happens? First of all, we have to understand what are correct tools, what are functions of tools, how we can use them. There is instruction available on every product, and we should read that first. We should explain that one to user, to operator. Correct tools for that purpose should be selected. It may be electrically operated, or it may be otherwise pneumatic operated, or whatever way it is, that should be completely understood. Operating instructions or its handling instructions or whatever, we have to go through. Even if somebody knows, reading is better, understanding is better. And how to store them, in a way that these do not damage, separately to be stored, do not mix up, do not put in stacks. Storage is very important for life of tool, because tools are very expensive. These are not very cheap, and these should be used after proper training. It should be explained how to use them, how to handle them, and how to clean them when you conduct toolbox talks. Toolbox talks has many purposes, and one is that safety engineer, or you can say safety other people, site people, officers, engineers, and all charge hands and foremen, they should know about how to use tools. And if they find somebody is not able to understand, they have to demonstrate to that person how to use this. That's the purpose of toolbox talk. There's no box of tool. Its box means there's a square. You have to remain within that square and explain this is a requirement. Then you can say cartridge operators. Cartridge means trigger, means dangerous. This should be very critical stage. Do not keep it loaded until it is required. Even if you do not know it's loaded or not loaded, do not keep on body of anybody. Maybe by accident it's loaded and triggered, that person would die. So important care is take responsibility of that and do it only. For example, Hilti gun we use. Hilti gun generally called in our construction work. We short fire bullets into ties, wall ties. We short fire bullets, There's RCC column and there's a block wall, and this every third layer or whatever number layer has to be connected to RCC column through wall ties. That wall ties cannot be nailed in. Those ties use Hilti shot, Hilti gun we call it, and the stainless steel bullet. This goes into that hole of Hilti, hole caused by Hilti. It caused hole itself at time of shot. When you shot it, use it, hole created, and that bullet also goes in, fixing permanently wall ties to column. And then this wall tie horizontal portion is embedded along with vertical portion in some mortar. So that remains permanently inside block work. And you can say to some extent only, that block wall is connected to column partly fixed. And that point is very, very significant. You have to understand. Hilti can be used with attention. It should not be left just for purpose of living. It should be cleared of load. There should be no bullet in that, and only trained operators should use it. Untrained cannot be given, and all safety measures, safety PPs must be taken care of. Hilti is not normal tool. It is electrical operated. It is very pressure tool, power tool you can say, and must be taken care of. Though it's not risky, but it is risky if you do not care. And it is not used every day. It is used during construction when block work of superstructure goes on. And likewise, there can be other tools also that can cause injury to everyone. Electrically operated tools, always, all tools are like that. Hand drills, you can say this is not electrically operated, but electrically operated tools commonly are used these days for whatever purpose. Drilling in temporary work or preparatory work, or drilling in permanent work, whatever is to be done, that should be done safely with complete precautionary measures. We have to understand and apply. Then we can say we have to also understand what is voltage current, what is voltage amperage, and what is correct voltage. That voltage also everybody has to know. An electrical person has to check that. And what is compatibility of that voltage with that tool, that point must also be understood. Sometimes there is a range of voltage, but that range is available or it's not available. We have to see whether that tool can function or can fail, because we cannot allow damage to tools. Tools are very expensive. If voltage doesn't come in that range, doesn't supply in that range, it's not supplied by that generator or by direct supply, then we should not use that one, or we should use that voltage only when it is correct. Generally, we use generators on site. Generators are good one if there is no direct supply. So we can say that generator would tell us what voltage it's giving, if it's good generator, and that way we can understand that how these tools can work. Then maintenance of tool is very important. It's not simply that we want use of tools, we have to maintain them properly. Maintenance, of course, it takes time. Everyday maintenance, everyday cleaning is not possible maybe, but in stores this can be maintained if not on site, or if you want to maintain them on sites, it can be maintained, but I think it's better if there should be some control in stores and the storekeeper can arrange for technical maintenance of that, engineering maintenance of that, and that can be taken care of by audit people, and before audit people this can be taken care of by construction people according to what is given in its catalog for functioning and for maintenance. That chart can be done, schedule can be drawn, because there is not only one tool on site. On project sites there are many tools of each category, hundreds of tools are available, and maintenance of everyone is different, timings are different. So it's better to schedule out all those tools, maybe in separate pages of your record, and you can enter when it was done, it was not done, when it's due, and that's the only way. And really it's very important that maintenance can help electrical circuits, it can help everything, it can tell you is damage or is deterioration. Then we say cable hose condition of tools. Hose or cable, both are, we have already discussed on temporary works, but this is for all works on ground, above ground. Hose should be compatible with equipment. For example, you use air compressor and jackhammer, or you connect your vibrator, concrete vibrator, to compressor for purpose of vibration if it is pneumatic operated, or you connect your hose to diesel vibrator if it is oil operated, diesel operated, or maybe it is electrical operated, so you connect with that one. That conditions of these connections, hoses, must be sound, that we have to check we are getting due pressure or not, and what is condition of surface of that hose, how it is fitted to tool, and how it is fitted to supply equipment. It may be hose or it may be cable. If it's not armored cable, if armored cable is there, okay, but generally for such tools I think or normal cable used, and that cable should be kept if it is particularly groundwork, and we can hide this. Let us say we can pass it through a conduit pipe below surface of earth, and that is not seen but it's available. It's better one, because we have to maybe extend lead of that or our supply, whatever, but that point must be considered. Now, working at height. Working at height is risky, though it's not complicated, it's risky. Risky in a sense, it depends on weather conditions, it depends on attitude of people, and it depends on care by supervisors, it depends on care by safety people, and it depends on care by workers itself, which is top care by worker itself. Working at height, it's not difficult, in fact it's risky. If we take care of people and our people are interested in their own care, because life is important for everybody. Certainly when you go at height, let's go to heights, your psychology is impacted upon when you see down. and these workers always stand on scaffoldings, or they stand on floors to work internally. Externally they stand on scaffoldings, and as height goes on increasing, they cannot understand everything in one go, because they are not exactly have one field. They require different type of levels of understanding. Means there is no impact, but don't become a part of impact. Working at height means you have to use scaffolding, you have to use PPEs, you have to use harnesses, you have to use lines, anchor points, and also you have to use safe access. You have to undergo adverse weather conditions, and there may be tag lines and many more. You have to use ladders or stairs, and when working at height, maybe you have to use shading, green net shading around. You have to stand on timber supports, and you have to work in cold as well as hot weather conditions. You have to be subject all time to drinking water. Means there are many ways you can say where we have to take care, and if we don't take care, nobody will take care for ourselves. Nobody will take care. It is very simple. You have to keep yourself safe first from falling. Scaffolding should be good, professional. Railing should be good, and it should be tagged in that it is usable. It's not dangerous. You can use it. That should be applied. And you have to understand that point, that erection properly supervised. There should be supervisor, lines and anchor points provided, PP harnesses used, safe access, weather limitations, tag lines, availability of drinking water, and availability of other means, and availability of some temporary arrangements of passing urine, or if possible, though it's not possible, I know, but these facilities must be there. Drinking water, toilet facility if possible. If we can provide chemical toilets, it would work. On major projects, it can be done. These are available everywhere nowadays. On sites, this can be allowed, this can be permitted, and these don't spread, these are not against environment as well. So for big projects where hundreds of people work, these are important facilities. If toilets are not provided, then there should be ground, and there should be smooth access from top level to ground level, so that workers can go to use those facilities. Environment conditions. Just give me 2 minutes. I open my door and come back. environmental controls, environmental conditions. We have to go through this environment, which is a responsibility of everybody to keep safe. That is environment, and we have to keep it safe. There is no way that we can run away from that point of view. In environment, we work in environment everywhere, and that environment should be friendly. And we should be friendly to environment. Both conditions exist. We cannot say environment is responsible for me or I am responsible for environment. We have to do as much as possible. And we say that we have to take care of noise, we have to take care of road, we have to take care of pollution, we have to take care of dust, we have to take care of heat, we have to take care of environmental protection, and we have to take care of whatever is possible that can be taken care of. These are main points. We have to take care of eyes also. That's also important. We have to take care of temperature also. It's not simply these points, there can be more points. We have to take care of humidity also. We have to take care of COVID-19 also. We have to take care of other issues, rain also. It's not one point. We have to take care of plants. We have to protect from plants also. Mosquitoes also. Means these are work controls. Noise control. We have to take care of, washing facilities. We have to take care of health, public health, that's called sewage, water supply. All those are required to be taken care of. It's not simply working control, it should be living control. We have to take care of our life camps, where we use, we drink, we live, we sleep, we eat. Everything is done, we cook. And we can say housekeeping. Housekeeping is one part, but sewage disposal, water treatment, all this we have to take care. And of course, plastic, waste plastic. Waste plastic is very, very important factor these days. We have to take care of that also. But who? But question is who? I mean, at works, we can say our safety leaders, our supervisors, work leaders, and we ourselves can take limited care, but we cannot take every care. So we can say we are just given here those points which everybody can take care of on site. A noise care is very important because it can affect your ears, it can affect your ears, it can affect your mind, it can affect your, you can say, head. So there is definition of noise which is within limits and which can be allowed, and our equipment which are noisy, or we should procure only those equipments which can be controlled in noise, or we can use some other means to get protection from those voices or noises. We use jackhammers, we use rock breakers, we use excavators, we use shovels, and we use many such machines which produce noise, heavy noise. Either we should keep off from them. Everybody does not work at that place, but those who work there, those workers are subject to those noises and they must be protected from that. Road maintenance is very important. Access road to sites are very important because those roads are not permanently built yet, and traffic would come on them, heavy traffic, heavy trucks, heavy trailers, and sometimes people drive cars on them. Always you see there is dust on such access roads. That can be silt particles or clay particles which are very, very light, and those can then, even with speed of 20 kilometers, they will fly in air. Even if there is no fast wind, there's chance that these flying particles should be settled, should be kept down. Even if there is high wind, then we have to spray water on them every couple of days so that these particles are settled down. Pollution control, this is also a part of pollution control, you can say, because availability of dust particles in air, availability of moisture having chemicals in air, all these make joint contribution to pollution, and we have to control that. Humidity, if it is available in air, and if there is no air, no wind, until wind destroys it, humidity will stay there. And when sun works, when heat works, this moisture present, enhances temperature because it is evaporated into vapor form. Though already it is in vapor form, it's further heated up. Then we are talked of dust suppression, and our people in hot sun, they work in temperature 40 degrees, 45 degrees, 35 degrees. If they work in 35 or below, I don't think there shall be major problem. Up to 35, I don't think it's big issue for working. But if it goes beyond 35, goes to 40, goes to 45, it's really dangerous for body. And if ultraviolet index is also high, which we consider up to 10, 11, 12, practically, theoretically it's up to 10, but practically it's up to 12, and up to 2 or 3 or 4 maximum, it's considered okay, fine, it will not cause any problem. Or it's go up to 8, it can be considered dangerous. It can go up to 9, 10, it may be considered very, very dangerous, harmful. And if it crosses 10, 11, 12, it's very, very dangerous, means it can cause problem to our bodies. And if you have to work under pressure in that conditions, then you should try to work in shade. And if you can't do shade also, you mean you should have proper dressing. No part of body should be exposed to heat at that time. So we have to take such precautions, or we have to cover ourselves. But benefit is that where this ultraviolet index, if you stay there just for a couple of hours or few minutes, it will raise your immunity. That's also a better point, but it cannot be compared to detrimental points. And that way there are so many points we can consider. It depends on common sense also. If good weather is there, good conditions are there, we feel better. If there is bad weather, bad feeling, bad conditions, we shall not feel better. This is very much true. We have to understand these points very clearly in our conduct, in our works. Then we can say painting and grid blasting. Every work requires to be painted. It may be plaster, it may be brickwork, it may be RCC slab, it may be external work, which we call rendering rather than plastering, or it may be whatever work we do. Even machines are painted. All machines are painted. Maybe not direct paint, by some other method, coating method, or you can say chemical method. Painting and blasting, these are required for protection, and these are, you can say if these are not applied, we cannot prolong life of those materials. And these are maintainable items. In painting activity, because painting is generally chemicals, polymer based chemicals possibly, or other type of chemicals, can say. These are done inside, internally, on internal surfaces, as well as done on external surfaces. These materials are applied after due processing or mixing, and these are applied by brush or by spray gun, both ways. And of course these are chemicals. Whatever way you apply, first you have to prepare that surface to a smoothness that paint shall be applied, you can say, comfortably. Means cleaning is done, sweeping is done, and you have to respire in that environment where chemical is stored, paint is stored and applied. This means everybody is subject to suffocation. Everyone. Suffocation of air, suffocation of your paint, which means you should have complete ventilation there, permanent ventilation. I mean to say, for that duration. But walls are there, you cannot have ventilation, but you must have. Generally in buildings, windows and doors are available, ventilators are available, that can remain open. But where there is no such area where you have required openings, you have to provide something for that purpose. So you can say that you have to provide something there so that ventilation is provided, or some cleaning gas is provided along with system, and we have to keep ventilation of all area for better health, for better safety. We should not, you can say, inhale that chemicals. For that purpose, we can use masks to some extent. It will not protect 100%, but to some extent. And we have to keep safe. We have to keep our eyes safe by using spectacles or safety glasses, and your hands with gloves, and of course safety shoe we wear. We can keep ourselves safe in those conditions. In painting there will be electrical supply, maybe. We have to do communication also. Metals may be flammable, and PPEs must be available. So we have to take total care there itself. Forced ventilation may be an answer. Means we have to keep, it is not 1 hour exercise, it goes on for many days, even if you use spray machine. So it's also a very important point. We have to understand. Blasting should be used if required. These are points of painting. Then we can go to housekeeping. Housekeeping, as name suggests, whatever your house, you have to keep it safe, keep it good. It doesn't mean your residence house alone. Every place is a house, every site is a house, and on that site, wherever you work, that is your house. It may be open to sky, or it may be within some room. It may be covered or uncovered. It may be your residential home. It may be your shop. It may be hospital. It may be whatever building, whatever place you are here and there. That is house. House here doesn't mean residential house or building. This means area wherever you work. First of all, there are some requirements that it should be well planned. Even on sites where you work, it should be well planned where you have to work, what is circulation, whether vehicles can pass safely without disturbing you. All should be planned while you start some project. I am talking of those areas which are big in size, kilometers by kilometers, sites are available, and every plan should be made. How shall it be used for preparatory works, for temporary works, and which is portion where permanent works are to go on. Where we have to stack our materials, that we have to decide, because all materials cannot be stocked in one point. These keep on coming, and different types of materials keep on coming and delivered, and we have to take care of that. We have to plan for that. For that purpose, we require laydown areas, storage areas. These are allocated permanently for that project. Permanently, I mean to say, for whole duration of project, and that is what is required. We have to use those areas, laydown areas, metal storage areas, and maybe we have to park our equipment somewhere. All equipment, all vehicles which are used all day, there as well as in our camps, because these require maintenance, these requires cleaning, along with housekeeping. It is to be done. Then in sites, we know we use nails and timbers, and sometimes and many times we don't care for them. Carpenters don't care for them, and they leave them as it is when they dismantle those shuttering works, dismantle those battens, timber battens. And it's not only wherever these are used, these are not taken out from pieces of timber, and even like here and there, even in soil particles I have seen people leave nails, and this is very dangerous point. This is also a part that if somebody stands on that by mistake, it punctures soul. Also walkways, working platforms, whatever we have should be clear, free from all obstructions, and all these must be well tidy. There should be no obstruction on sites, in working areas, and even in offices areas. All should be accessible, and wherever work is done, that should be well maintained. And therefore we can say housekeeping means there is no specific definition of that. Every activity is to be understood in that term, in that requirement, and that is housekeeping point. We cannot run away from that. Housekeeping, even in your office, you have to keep it clean, and that's called housekeeping. Your filing should be organized, your floor should be free, your entry should be free. You should enter somebody, that should be free. In common areas, there should be no problem. Access should be free. पंखा बंद कर दिया लाइट specialist activities, specialist pressure testing, barriers, signs, etc. These are specialist activities. Pressure testing, then it is radiography, heavy lifts, hazardous substances, others. There can be many more. Not only this, many more. We have already talked of for pressure testing that what care are required to be taken, what cares. Where pressure testing is done, there can be many bad incidents which we have to take care of. Already we talked. Radiography, we have talked. It's very activity that's not done everywhere, but it can cause problems. Therefore, we have to take care of that. Similarly, heavy lifts. I mean to say, you use cranes or excavators or man lift or others. We have to take care, and substances which can cause hazards and others. In fact, in fact, it is, to be very frank, safety has no limit. I'm just giving like conclusion statement every day. Safety, health, environment, economics, and what else can say, whatever else we can add to that. Nothing has limit. It has no limit because every project is different, every activity is different. We have building works, we do refinery works, we do foundation works, plants works, we do mechanical works, electrical works, we do, you can say, road works, sewer line works, deep excavations, diaphragm works, water resources works, whatever else we do. Safety commonly is same, but specifically it's different everywhere. Safety cannot be compromised, but even then incidents do happen. It is though not measurable, but it is affectable. Sometimes we think of money only, that I can't spend this much money on safety. People have different thinking. Those people who do not understand professionally what is safety, they don't want to spend money. And they suffer also from that when some incident happens. Sometimes, those people who cannot think much, they don't care for safety. I have even seen such people, but they are not very educated. If you ask them, you did not use this PPE, and particularly they say, don't worry, I know I'm responsible, I want to keep myself safe. Sometimes they answer like this. That is not good, because those answers are delivered by those who do not know what is safety. Even if they listen to you during toolbox talks, and they may not understand anything, but they would say, okay, I've done it. That's why we say line managements come into play. It's line management, it is little upper management, it is middle management, those who are responsible. It's their duty to understand and to let their juniors, their associates understand what is safety, why it is significant, what is value of life of an individual, what is value of life of that individual family, what is value of life of friends, what's value of life of colleagues, and what is value of life of company, and what is value of life of others, and what is value of its own life. Life cannot be endangered because of lack of safety. That cannot be permitted. Safety is not one man's. Safety is not group job. It is job of group. It is job of everyone. I have talked only very limited on safety. There can be many courses, many programs, and I have also attended many programs, but I still say I do not know safety. I say I do not know. Why should I say I know everything? I do not know. Nothing wrong in that. I do not know. I know only little. And even after knowing little, I may not be able to implement that. So maybe it looks ridiculous when I talk, but fact is that because we are involved in a world where others decide, sometimes you don't decide. And a person or a company or owner who just thinks of earning profit, leaving people here and there, I think that's very dangerous. There's organization where people's value is not taken care of. Or they leave to governments, okay, I've done insurance for these people, why should I worry? I have benefited this, with some surety, with some security. Your life shall be safer. That's the point I say. Safety is a responsibility for each and everyone, not for one, not for two, but everyone. It's also responsibility for those who sit in offices. They are more responsible than those who are on sites because ultimately these site workers work for them. Sites will go one day, it will not be there forever. But those officers will be there for all day, those managers, those organizers who take policy decisions, they shall be everywhere. Project leaders shall also go, construction leaders shall also go, all engineers shall go. But life of workers, if gone, cannot come back. Life of those who work on sites, if gone, cannot come back. We have to understand that point very clearly. And if we understand that point, we should not devalue safety subject, safety requirements. It's like quality requirements, and that's why I always say quality and safety are both linked. Quality is linked, safety is linked, these are both linked. And if you don't take care of that, we can say this quality page again for ending reference. What we say is a must to be done. Quality, safety and health, environment. Quality required everywhere and in every activity in life and in engineering, without which nothing can move. SHE required everywhere during manufacturing and in construction and also during use of products, whereas ergonomics is a science that tells everyone about how to use available energies for doing work activities in best possible manner so that worker is least impacted upon by adverse actions. These requirements are certainly must. No way to respond to no. Ask yourself. No way out loud. Good quality compliance applications, good SHE compliance applications, nothing can move in right directions. SHE is very first consideration on every activity, on every project and on every operation supported by ergonomics. SHE claims that safety first. If safety is conducted, what happens, and if safety is ignored, what happens? सुरक्षा है तो दर्द नहीं, सुरक्षा है तो दर्द नहीं, सुरक्षा नहीं है तो दर्द दर्द. No safety, no pain, no safety, no pain. Quality has to be complied with defined requirements within ambit of work specifications. Quality range in elaborations depending on indicative descriptions, and there exists no unlimited scope of quality criteria to be carried out. No future if no quality persists and its specified requirement must be met. Gunavatta avashyak. Quality is a must. Engineers have to understand that. Gunavatta avashyak, abhyanta ko samay na hoga. Engineers must realize quality facts, and in particular, civil engineers have to change quality aspect of social life. Quality cannot exist otherwise. So with this, I think we can remind all time. It's only reminder issue. What we do, what we don't do. Systems quality to be devised and achieved. Broken system means broken life, linked to broken system. Professionals, individual and working capacity quality to be amended from time to time. One must be forced to amend its quality for obtaining reliability by additional learning, due teaching, and by additional knowledge dissemination. Relevant element of product, defined quality to be achieved. Individuals required attitude quality to be streamlined. Individuals' dedication to work to be applied on actions. So that's all I can say. I should take your leave now because it's too early. Thank you very much. I think I should close it now. Bye bye.